All right, so this is our Brittany's team meeting with, tonight we're going to talk about a little bit of booking strategies and also recruiting, which are two very important aspects of our business. And I'm going to have a screen share tonight, PowerPoint presentation for the recruiting part, but for the booking part, I'm just going to go ahead and talk. Booking is definitely it's the type of thing that you need to be proactive about. Sometimes people will just come to you and say, hey, I want to have a party, and that's great. That's really great. But most of the time, it'll happen because you've done several things that are going to help people come to that conclusion that really having a party with Usborne Books is the only reasonable thing to do. Most of us, money is an issue. Especially young families with young children. There's not a lot of extra money, but you still want to build those libraries for your children. It's very important to have books in the home. We know from all kinds of studies that the number one indicator of how well a child will do in school is how many books are in the home. And you might have a lot of books in your home, but a lot of families don't. In fact, there are no books in some families' homes, not even any reading material whatsoever. So that sends a clear, strong message that reading's not important, and that sets them up for failure in the future. So having lots of books in your home and readily available, mommy reading, daddy reading, and books everywhere shows a child that these are valued and important. So helping families get lots of books in their home is one of the things that we are working diligently on. And the most reasonable thing to do is to go ahead and have a party yourself, because we offer so many free books. It's quite easy to get $100 to $200 worth of free books just by hosting either a live party or a Facebook party. So we want to help our hostesses not our hostesses, but the customers, our guests at the parties, see that it's a reasonable thing to go ahead and book your own party and have your own. So, okay, one of the first things that I do in booking is that I plant seeds. So I just don't say it once. Throughout my party, I will if it's a Facebook party, I'll post it. But if it's a live party, I'll mention it at least 3 times. All the studies have shown that a person has to hear something at least 3. Some studies say 6 times, but at least 3 times before they'll act on it. Have you ever driven down the street and seen a billboard and you're like, oh, that's cool, I should do that, whatever it is, and then you forget as soon as you drive by. And then you see it again and you're like, oh, I should do that, and you forget. And maybe by the 3rd time you're writing it down, finally your brain has adjusted and you want to go ahead and act on that information. The same kind of thing is with booking. So throughout your show, you should plant booking seeds. Some of the booking seeds would be, you should have a show with me and get your books for free, especially if you have your guest write down wish list. If they have long wish lists with many titles on it, you can tell them they can get them for free by booking a show with you. That's a booking seed. Another thought might be that if you book a show, you get your books for free. You can, if you don't need all those books, you can share them with your other family and friends. Maybe buy your Christmas gifts, maybe buy your birthday gifts for the year. There's many things to do with them. It's instead of just buying for your family. So, so there's many different kinds of booking seeds. You can say if you had your own show, if you hosted a party, you could tell them why you did it. People relate to you more than just facts. So it's like, oh, you did it because of this? Yeah, I think that way too. So I think I'll go ahead and book a show. If you do a live party, definitely do pretend hostess.
Okay.
If you're not familiar with it, it's in your consultant manual, but that's a very blown up version of it. It's very detailed, and most people say, oh, I can't really do that. But you can take it and pare it down to its simplest form and still get the benefit of it by doing pretend hostess. I am actually not a very outgoing person, so to be very dramatic to me is kind of foreign, but I have done pretend hostess in a scaled down version where I pile the books up in front of people, and then before I ask them to book a show with me, I tell them how much they're going to get, and it's a great visual, and then people go ahead and book all the time because of that. So it's a great tool. Yeah. And I later on at some point I can show my scaled down version. It's very simple. You'll be like, oh yeah, I can do that. Anybody can do that. So pretend hostess, very important. Now, if you're a very outgoing person and you like drama and you like to do things like that, look at the full blown version. Some people love it. They wouldn't do it any other way. It's just go with your personality, because you'll do better with the way you like it than if you try to do somebody else's words. Okay, so pretend hostess at a live party. Now, at a Facebook party, you can do the same thing. You just have to find pictures about it, and just put the words in a post and talk about all the things that you get free. Okay. Now, if you've already done parties, another booking seed is to tell people what your previous hostess got. A live person just got this. In fact, I can tell you that my hostess last week got $250 in free books. So it was a great Facebook. It was a Facebook party. She's thrilled, so happy. Her guests loved it. We showed lots of videos of the books, and it went really well. Go ahead. Okay, so one thing I want you to know is to be prepared when you're talking to people. You need to ask people if they'd like to book a show, because they may be thinking it, but if you don't ask them, they may never act on it. So a simple thing is with your friends and families, would you like to host a show and get books for free? That's a simple way to put it. And they can say yes or no. It's nothing against you. If they say no, it's nothing against you. It's all about them and their lives. But if you don't ask them, you won't know if they want to have a show. So find a way to simply ask them if they'd like to book a show with you to get free books. But remember, it's all about them and it's nothing about you. So be prepared and know what you have to offer them. If you're in your incentive period, then you should know that you can double the free books on any shows during your incentive period, your first 12 weeks with the company. The minimum for the show is $250, which is very low. Our average home show is around $400. It's probably more than that now, but on the safe side, I'll say $400. So for a $400 show, if you're new, normally you can give them $70 in free books, but because you get to double that to $140. That's a lot of books. That's their whole wish list is $140 in free books. So plus half price books and other discounted books as well. So at the $400 mark, which I say is the magic mark, they'll get just about everything they want, and you'll walk away happy because you'll make $100. That's your commission. And your hostess will walk away with a lot of free books, enough free books that she'll say to herself, this was really worth it. Right. So, okay. So know what you can offer. The company has a monthly hostess special, and it changes all the time. This month in March, I know that it's an extra $50 worth of books if you have a minimum of a $400 show. Okay. So normally with a $400 show, you get 70 plus an extra 50. So we're talking $120 in free books. That's a lot of free books. Even though the hostess specials change all the time, you can feel safe in saying to your hostesses that if you have an average show of $400, I can get you around $100 in free books. You can say that as an average, and you're very close to it, if not a little more, maybe a little less, but around $100 in free books when you're talking to people. Now, if you say to them, I can get you a lot of free books, that's nice. But that means nothing to them. What does that mean? What's a lot of free books? So be specific. Talk about some general numbers, not too detailed, because they don't want to learn your job. They don't want to learn the hostess program. They just want to get a general idea of what they can get out of it. So average home show is around $400. For that, I can normally give you $70 in free books. Because I'm new, I can double that to $140. Or because of the hostess special this month, I can get you an extra $50. So that's $120 in free books. Okay? So that's very helpful to be prepared and let them know what they can get out of it. And remember, it's all about them. It's not about you. So what they get out of it is really important. Okay? And then the other thing is to ask everybody, don't prejudge. In everything we do with Usborne, don't judge somebody that they will or they won't. They be good or they won't be good at something. because generally speaking, you're going to be wrong. You're going to delightfully find out that the person you didn't think would do it has said yes and has been waiting for you to ask them. And the person you thought would do it is going to say no, and they don't want any part of it, and you're shocked by that. They have 8 children. They need books, but they don't want to do a party, you know. Parties don't have to be 20 or 30 people. They could be, if they're live parties, they could be shopping dates where it's 2 or 3 people. You go and do a small presentation for a few friends. It's still a party. We call those personal shopping dates. And so you can go, you just tell your friend, invite a friend over or a couple of friends over, and I'll bring the books and show you guys privately. You know? And those type of parties, although you'd like to have more people because they're generally smaller in sales, they may get you a booking. So they're definitely worth doing, you know. More than likely you will, because you'll have lots of one-on-one time with everybody. Now, with Facebook parties, we have some certain rules, like we want you to ask and get 25 people that want an invitation before we even set up the party. That's an important rule that you shouldn't break. It just sets you up for success. But a live party, I think 10 to 15 people is a nice size party, especially if you're new. I think any more than that, the party's going to get away from you, and you'll get less sales because it'll be this person's talking over here, that child's running over there. You've sort of lost control. So if you find that your hostess has more than 15 people that want to come to the party, have her split it into 2 parties. You can make them back to back. It's okay. But you'll be more in control of the party. And I'm talking live parties. If you do 2, then do one gigantic one. And I have done a gigantic one. I did one when there was 30 people at the party. I was absolutely not in control of that party.
Wow.
Not at all, in any way, shape, or form. It was terrible, actually. It turned out okay because there was enough people to make it a decent show, but I kind of made that decision after that party that I was going to break them up into 2 and not two.
Yeah.
So booking, so you want to ask everybody. We have a tool that's really great. It's on your back office under consultants, new consultants. It's called a booking notebook. And what it is, it's categories of people you might know. So you would go and get the categories, and I'd like you to go ahead and get a spiral notebook, and then at the top of each page, put 1 category. And then there's 20 different categories, and then try to fill in with at least 5 names under each category. Of course, you're going to have 10 in one and maybe 5 in another, but shoot for 5 and see if you can do it. And if you do, you'll have about 100 people to contact. And that's a lot, and I don't expect you to do it all in 1 day or 2 days or a week, but spread it out. This tool you'll use your whole career. So it's a notebook that you keep of people you want to ask to have a party. So you call them up. If you're new, you call them up and say, have you heard of Usborne before? Because if they haven't heard of Usborne, they're going to tell you no, because they don't know how great they are. Why should they? So if you find out they don't know about Usborne, take a few minutes. Show them a catalog. Invite them to another party. Do something to help them fall in love with Usborne before you ask them to do anything. You know, but if they have heard of Usborne, just plunge in and say, listen, I want to get some bookings on the calendar in April. I wondered if you have a party for me this month. I can get you about $120 in free books for just an average show. And if you want to do it on Facebook, it's very convenient. Put the kids to bed. We'll have a party in the evening, at night, and it's all online, so you don't even have to brush your hair or anything, clean your house. You just have a party. So, okay, so that's pretty much with booking, but I do want to just say again, you want to ask everybody, because you don't know who needs it, who wants it, who doesn't want it. So in just asking, A, you're going to train yourself to ask everyone. B, you're going to learn how to do it by action, by actually doing it. And C, you're going to book some shows. And from those shows, you'll book more. And from those shows, you'll book more. And all of us, no matter how long we've done this, will come to a point where we'll have to go and ask people if they want to have shows. It's just inevitable. So it's a good skill to learn how to do. Now, personally, I think it's such a great deal to get $120 in free books that I have no problem asking people if they want to have a show. I am doing them a favor. If I don't ask them, I'm holding back from them something really good. So think about it that way. Don't think about it that you're trying to get them to do something you want them to do. Be more of the type that you want to help them get something good or doing something for them. And if they say no, accept it. And it's okay, and it's not personal, and you just go on and ask the next person. So that's kind of booking in a nutshell. Now, do stay close to your team leader or your trainer or your friend, and as you go and ask people, and don't, if you get 3 no's in a row, take a break and call somebody and talk about it, because really all you need is a little more encouragement, because you might have to go through 4 no's till you get a yes, and then you might get 3 yeses in a row. As Brittany and I were talking earlier, it really is a numbers game. You have to go through a certain amount of numbers, and then you will run into the people that want to do this. Now that kind of leads us into recruiting, because in a way recruiting is absolutely the same thing. I don't want you to be a predator. I don't want you to look at people as, how do I get them to do what I want them to do? I want you to look at people as, how do I help you get what you need and what you want? Let me come alongside you. I'm going to partner with you. And maybe it'll be having a home party to get free books for your house, and that's it. Or maybe it'll be you need to bring in some extra money, and I'm going to help you have a home-based business so you can work around your children's schedule. Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to go ahead and put up a screen share. And if you can't see this, don't worry about it. I'm going to send it out later as a document, and you can get it then, the PowerPoint presentation. But this is about recruiting, okay? Hold on. Let me bring it up. I'm new to this part, so hold on a minute. Screen share, so okay. 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 Brittany, can you see that? No?